Hey, it's your girl Denver, and today I want to talk about setting goals as a creative person, as a music producer, because what creativity doesn't have a set schedule, and it's kind of hard. And yes, this is one of my drumsticks. So let's get into it. First thing, input versus output goals. Input goals are goals that are things like I'm going to work on music for 5 hours this week. Output goals are I want to make 3 tracks this week. Now, the secret to my creativity and making sure I'm not stressed out is focusing on input goals because these are goals that I can control. Those amount of hours in the DAW, trying to get better, probably learning something new versus output goals where it can be really stressful trying to hit them and be like, oh my God, I need to finish like 3 tracks and, I have 2 days left. Like, that's not a space where a lot of creativity flourishes. So focusing on input goals have really been important to me to make sure I keep creating. The second thing is demo weeks. And what I mean by that is it's a week where I make a bunch of music and I try not to judge myself. And I'm like, they're just demos. And as a producer, I love to add stuff. I love to really overcook my beats. That's something you might hear in the producer community. But during this week, I consciously tell myself all the time, like, undercook it. Like, don't overcook this beat. Like, get the idea in its rawest form. You just want to capture the idea in like as little layers as possible and then move on to the next thing. Like, that's the whole point of the week. And that has been really helpful for me in terms of releasing my own expectations. And it's kind of fun to not overthink as much because otherwise I'm really in my head. And I still am when I'm finishing songs and stuff like that. But during these weeks specifically, you need to finish. So you're not setting an output goal where you're like, hey, I need to finish 15 demos. No, that's not the point. The point is you're showing up, whatever amount of hours you want to set every day, and like you're going to make some demos this week, and that's it. And you're going to export. That's also a very important part of this is you have to bounce whatever you are making out. Otherwise, you will want to go back into the DAW and try to make the idea better or tweak it like this and da-da-da. No, you just want to get the idea out, bounce it out, move on to the next demo. And then you can come back after some time and then have a fresh set of ears and you're like, oh, I actually love that demo. Or now that we talked about kind of like my overall thoughts on how to set goals as a music producer to keep, my creativity flowing, let's get into the nitty-gritty of my day-to-day planning. I have been a planner girl for years, and I actually switched planners recently to the Intelligent Change Productivity Planner, but I have used the Full Focus Planner for years, and I'm going to be honest, I use it usually Monday to Friday, not really on the weekends, and there's times in my life where I don't use it, but I usually return to some form of planning because life is crazy, as we all know, and there's like so many things you need to do, keep track of. And luckily, if you write it down, you can free up that space in your mind to be more creative. What I use this planner for is to set weekly goals in terms of input goals. Also, I set daily kind of priorities, I time block, and this just helps me keep organized. And if I'm having a bad day, I just finish the most important task that I wrote down for the day, and that's it. And I can feel like, okay, at least I did something. And I did the most important thing. I'm not like procrastinating too much. I also really love to look back on my planner because I use it as a journal as well. There's a whole notes section on the second side here, right here. That's the notes section where I often write journal entries, and you can see like, oh, like what was I doing that day? And you can see the highs and lows of your life depending on what season the journal was in. And the final tip I want to give you is having accountability in your life in some form, whether that's a friend or someone you love to produce with, someone to keep you accountable. And truly, this has unlocked a different level of my creativity because it honestly just keeps me accountable. And I know that's like so kind of lame and it seems really like restrictive in a way, but having an accountability partner is not someone who's like punishing you for not doing the things that you said. It's kind of like a coach. Think of it as a coach who's like really rooting for you. And this could be a friend. This can be just someone who you like to produce with, who just checks in on you and how the projects you are working on are going. And for me, this has been really helpful in terms of like finishing songs. Otherwise, I would probably be just like working on them forever and just overbaking them to death. Having someone help you really creates the structure for you to get things done. At least for me, I don't need a lot of structure, but I do need a little structure, kind of like somebody be like, hey, you said you would do it. Did you do it? And it doesn't have to be a person who's like really on you, with being like really in the nitty gritty. It's to whatever level that you want. And for a long time, I have been a person who's like, I can do it myself. Like, I've been pretty self-motivated for a long time. But even as a self-motivated person, having an accountability person has been very helpful and kind of unlocked a new season of my production. Hope this helps some of you creatives and music producers out there. Now, good luck and happy creating. Bye. Good luck and happy creating. Bye.